Howdy folks, and welcome to this episode of Michael's Backyard Marina. We're going to do a little project today. We're not going to work on an outboard today, so if you're looking for an outboard, I'm sorry. I'm not going to work on one today, but I'm going to work on something associated with outboards, and that's a proper way, I should say a proper way, a place to store your motor or your outboard when it's not in use. If you want to take it off your boat, say your boat's left outside, but you don't leave your outboard outside, you want to bring it inside, build yourself a stand, set it on a stand. Now, I've built several stands in the shop here. I've got several motors hanging up all over the place in here, and I've been moderately happy with what I've created so far, but it's still, something's still been bugging me. How I've been building them has still been bugging me. Now, I like to make them out of wood, so there's something that everybody can do. I shouldn't say everybody, but most people can do. I'm going to do something a little different because most of engine stands I've seen that people build, they're straight up and down. The board is straight up and down and all that fun stuff. And most of these outboards are set, and I just did a protractor angle on one, and you know it's about 13-degree angle. That the transom of the boat's about 13 degrees, so that when it's sitting on there and you got your outboard on there, the outboard is actually sitting flat. The carburetor line and everything's sitting flat, or vertical, however you want to look at it. But it's perpendicular to the world, parallel to the water, however you want to look at it, when it's hanging on the boat. So why shouldn't your engine stand have supported the same way? I've got an old Johnson aluminum stand that I got with an outboard about a year or two ago, and it's set up to be at an angle. And that's what I just checked. It was 13-degree angle. I love the way it sits because the outboard is sitting flat. It's not tilted toward you. It's not doing something funky. It's sitting basically just like it would on the boat. So I'm going to create some engine stands today that do exactly the same thing, that holds the, say for instance, if this is the board is going to be the board that holds that the motor sits on, it's not going to be straight up and down. I'm going to tilt it back. So when that motor's hanging on there, it's sitting perfectly level across the top of the motor, which is what I want. So it mimics like it is, like I said, on the boat. And it's great for if you're going to store it. Now what I like to do is I buy these little casters. I'm going to show you. Buy these little swivel casters. They got a nice, I don't know if that's a neoprene type of wheel. It's a softer, it's not soft rubber, but it's not hard plastic either. So it rolls nice and quiet. I buy the swivels, and I put swivel casters on all four corners so you can spin it around and do it if you want. Now a lot of people might say, well, no, just 2 swivels and 2 rigid casters. That sounds great until you start moving it around, and you got to move it around like a shopping cart. 4 swivels, it moves in any direction, spin it around. These are about $250 a piece. Not crazy expensive. You're gonna have $10 in casters. And I'll look at what the lumber prices have gone stupid crazy lately. Because I went out and bought, what did I buy? 10 2x4s and 6 2x8s, and it was $150. Treated lumber. Now you don't have to do treated, but why not? Because these are going to be indoors, the treated is not going to, but one thing I do like about the treated is when you're putting it together and screwing it together with your big 3-inch deck screws, is they don't seem to split because they're wet. And then once they dry, everything dries and bites down hard, and it seems to do pretty good. Now the only bad part about wet wood is you can't wood glue it, but that's okay. I'm going to put enough screws in it. The wood glue, I don't need the wood glue to give it strength anyway. But I'm going to go for a little bit different design, and I'm going to work through it with you guys together today. And I'll give you some dimensions and some measurements on what I'm doing to build mine. Sometimes I build them, I've got mine right now, they're sitting about 1 foot off the ground. Do I need to have them 1 foot off the ground? No. But what I do like to have 1 foot off the ground for is when I'm standing there working on them, it's right here in front of me. So if you want to, if you're taller or shorter, you can make yours a little bit different than mine. Basically, you just want to keep that skeg off the ground and keep it workable. Now I'm going to build a couple dual engine stands. When I say dual, it hold 2 outboard motors, and I'll build a couple singles because I got a couple big motors that I want to just move around singularly, and I don't want to have work around another one while I'm working on it. I can use my hoist that I put in to lift them up on and off of these stands and move them around and switch out stands. So with that being said, let's get busy. Let's drag in some wood. Let's do some marking, do some cutting, and show you how I'm going to set it up so that this doesn't sit vertical, it leans back. Let's go. first thing I'm going to do is cut the legs. That'll be the vertical part coming up. And I'm actually going to use it out of 2x8s. And that's going to give me a little strength that I don't have in some of my other ones. We'll see if it works better. I think it will. And there's another reason I'm using this for verticals as well. So I need, for each leg, I need 42 inches. So I need 2 pieces 42 inches long. Now I'm going to do something a little different than I've done in the past on the other ones. I'm actually going to cut this in so this board can actually sit just like that. Hey there, woman. How you doing? We're going to notch it just like that. Now that we've got the one cut, I'll use it as a pattern for the second one. I can kind of get an idea what I'm going for. I'm just using some regular 3-inch deck screws here. Nice. You can already get an idea how sturdy that's going to be, and I haven't even got this is wobbly legs yet. I'm liking that so far. Now on the bottom, I'm going to run some 2x4s this way for the legs, or for the stabilizing feet. That way I can actually have the mount the casters to the bottom of that. So I got some 2x4s we're going to cut up right now. Let's see if I can explain to you what I'm going to do here, get you in the picture. So I've cut these legs that are going to go on here. They're 2 feet long. Just like that. But I'm going to offset them. This is going to be exaggerated. I'm going to offset them this direction because the way I've got the angle, the motor's going to hang on the back side and you want the more stability over here. So the motor's going to be back there, not up front here. That way it's going to be more stable because all the weight on these things hanging off the back pretty much, nothing's hanging off the front. So I'm going to actually literally offset it. I'm going to try it. You can always move it. Because the nice thing about screwing everything together, you can always move it. I think I'll put about 6 inches. Yeah, I think that'll work. We'll try that with 6 inches. Let's go ahead and mark these out. might be a little overkill, but that's the way I likes it. I think that'll work just fine. And now I'm gonna put casters on here. Let's screw some casters on it. How many of you think that's too tall? Wow, that came out way taller than I wanted it to. I thought I measured this other one over here, and it measured, well, I guess from there to the board, measured 38. I don't know where I got 42 from. Huh, that's way too tall. Because even if this was a long shaft, it'd be way too tall. Because right now I'm about 17 off the floor. And say if it was a long shaft, say that'd be 20, be another 5 inches. I could safely lower this thing 10 inches, which would be nice because if you look at 10 inches here, I'd put the top of the housing right here, which is down. I gotta take this back apart. We're learning it together. That's for dang sure. Nice thing about screwing it all together is I can unscrew that off there and cut 10 inches off. I'm gonna do that. That's what we're gonna do. We'll just let that hang there. So let's do a little quick recap here. We got this front board is it's a 2x8. Yep, 2x8, 21 inches long. This is fitting a 35 horse, no problem. I cut these at 30, they're now that I cut them again, they're 32 inches tall instead of 42. I don't know where I added 10 in my head. 32 inches tall with the notch cut out. This is a 15-degree angle. From the top, looking down, it's 15 degrees. That's what I got that at. And you can see the motor hanging there pretty nice, kind of like it would sit on the back of a boat. It might be tilted a little further back, but it's fine. You can also, these different pins, if I want this to sit level, I can pull and put a different pin, you know, because you can adjust the trim on these. So it's 32, a 2x8, 2x8, 32 inches long with a notch cut in them. And then the bottom, I cut these bottom feet. Hope I got this in the picture. I think I do. These two bottoms are 24 inches. Now I set this one back 6 inches. From here to here is 6 inches. Quite frankly, I'd go down to 4. I think that's what I'll do on my next one. I'll go back to 4 because I'd like to have more ballast back there supporting it so it don't tip on me. You just got to be cautious when you're pushing it around that you don't hit a crack in the floor and dump it. And then I just cut, since this is 21 1/8, I cut this piece 21 1/8, and that holds my spacing. And then I took the remainder piece of wood, and the only again I did this leftover piece was about 12 inches long, and I cut it's a 2x8, and I cut it corner to corner to make that wedge right there. That's going to keep this bottom piece from becoming a rocking chair, like I said. I'm pretty sure this is the best one I've built so far. And I've built now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 engine stands. This is number 8. And quite frankly, it's my favorite. It's my favorite. What can I say? That just turned out really well. I'm really happy with it. Now I can pull this cover off. The other nice thing about treated wood, one thing to think about, sometimes I'll wheel these outside and I'll power wash them. And the treated wood, if it gets wet, it ain't gonna hurt it. It won't. It'll still absorb water and whatnot, but it ain't gonna eventually rot it. You know how long it'd take to rot one of these, even if it wasn't treated wood? It'd literally have to live out in the weather. But yeah, that's sweet. Now I need to build. I'm gonna build one more of these, maybe 2 more of these. I need to get my receipt out. I'll give you a breakdown on the cost because all I did on this, you guys can go look at the cost up it because your lumber is going to be different in your area than my area possibly. I built all this out of one 2x8, 8-foot long, and one 2x4, 8-foot long. And I have 24 inches of 2x4 left over, and I would have had 20 inches of 2x8 left over. So not too bad, but yeah, you get 1 engine stand out of 2 boards. So you got the cost of your 2 boards, some 3 or 3.5 inch deck screws. I've been using 3.5s here. And your 4 casters at $2.50 a piece. So that's $10 plus your lumber. That's pretty reasonable. You can't go out and buy a stand that cheap that'll do what this one will do. Well, I got 2 more 25s sitting here. And I tell you what, I wouldn't mind building just 2 more like this. I bought 6 pieces, so I can build 2 more like this real easy. Because I bought 10 2x4s, and that still leave me 3. The cool part is now I could do, instead of this being 21, I could go plus 20, 51. See, this helps out. Because I got 10 inches I can save off that other piece. Actually, yeah, 21. Yep. So yeah, if I'd have cut that right, because I had this piece of board here, but if I'd have cut this all out right, I could have got it all out of 1 piece of board, because I got 32, and 32 is 64, 74, 84, 85, plus 10 is 95, 96. There you go, 8-foot piece. So an 8-foot piece would have got it all. With ease, folks, with ease. Ah, that's so cool. Anywho, I'm going to build 2 more of these, and I think I'm going to build 2 more that hold 2 each. That way I get more bang for my buck out of my casters, and plus I can, instead of putting 160 pounds on, I can put 2, like one 10 horse or 9.9s or 15s. They're a lot lighter. 2 of those would almost equal 1 of these. I'll have to weigh one of those out. Yeah, That's what's nice about these is I actually work on them. Then when I run into a spot where I gotta stop, I just wheel it out of my way and wheel the next one in. Don't have to pick it up. Pick it up once, set it out here, then I'll pick it up again and set it in the test tank when it's ready to run a test. All right. Well, you guys can hang around a little bit longer if you'd like. I'm gonna time lapse the build of the next ones, and I'll have them, I think at the end of the time lapse, I'll just line it all up here. That'll hopefully get most of my motors off the floor, because I still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 motors still on the floor. I don't like them on the floor. I can't move around, they're in my way. This way, if I need to make room in the shop, I can shove all these to one side, make a big open floor space, and this is my neatest, cleanest one so far. I might have to take all these other ones I've got and do a little rebuild job on them. And I think slowly replace them with this style. We'll make the rest of them. I'll use them for a while. But yeah, that's just solid. Well, I hope you guys found this video helpful, useful. Maybe you're going to do the same thing, maybe not. It's up to you. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Don't really need a blueprint. You can kind of see what I did there. It's not that crazy. It's pretty simple. But even if you didn't have a hoist to lift stuff with, this already gets this motor at this height. And if you're switching this from here to a boat, you could actually roll it out or back the boat up in here near. You could lift it up, go over and set on the boat. Probably a buddy lift, two-person lift. But anywho, you guys get out there, do something fun, accomplish something today. And this is Michael, and I'll see you on the next video. Don't forget to give me that thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I appreciate all of you that have. And this is Michael, and I'm out. Alrighty, as you can see, I've got the engine stands all built. I ended up building 1, 2, 3 of them that actually have a whole 3 across. Really small motors, you can put 4 across for storage. And then I built 3 individual ones that'll hold a big motor, like this guy here. I got 3 of those. And the cool part is I made those. Basically, these are 21 inches wide. The ones back there are 42 inches wide. So they all stack up to the same width. And they butt together at the bottom without interfering with each other, maximizing my space. But yeah, that's pretty cool. I like these engine stands so much, because of how they perform, or how they look, and how they appear in their sturdiness, that I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 other engine stands here. Let's see if I get these on the picture. I got 4 other engine stands that I'm going to replace and build them the exact same way. Why wouldn't I? Because it maximizes my space and it looks really, really good. Well, if you guys got this far into the time lapse, you get to see the results of what I did, and I appreciate you watching. And for the second time in this video, this is Michael, and I'm out. 20, 30, 130 pounds. That's no lightweight little dude there, I'll tell you that. That's heavy. 130 pounds. Frankenstein only weighs 160. If you guys don't know who Frankenstein is, you need to look up some more of my videos. You'll see what Frankenstein is. We haven't had Frankenstein on the water yet, but his days are coming. 130 pounds. Woo!